Happy Devil's Friday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. As we have breaking news coming over the wire in the last 15 minutes from Elliotte Friedman that Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver, or formerly the Vancouver Canucks, is now a Minnesota Wild. Elliotte Friedman tweeting that out, posting that on X about 15 minutes ago. Quinn Hughes, Norris Trophy All-Star defenseman, going to the Minnesota Wild. Wow. It's not surprising, Devils fans. It's not surprising. The Devils really, the cap situation, and it wasn't going to work. It literally wasn't going to work. You couldn't figure out how to move the money around. And now Quinn Hughes, with all the hype surrounding this, Quinn Hughes is now a Minnesota Wild. I want to get your thoughts, comments about it. Some people love it. Some people think that now it's not the time. Fitzgerald had all the leverage here for a while, but when it came down to crunch time, Tom Fitzgerald, Devils GM, did not pull the trigger. And I know a lot of Devils fans are going to be questioning where do we go from here? What's Fitzy's next move? Or will Fitzy be able to make the next move? That's another question that I have. NJ Jersey Shore Guy says, Quinn, after last night's performance, he bailed on the idea. Saying that in the YouTube Live. Yeah, we're streaming on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitch, and on X, as Quinn Hughes has been traded to the Minnesota Wild. Getting the details as it comes for 3 players and a first-round pick. So what are your thoughts? I honestly want to know. Are you happy that Fitzgerald stood pat here? When I put out a poll about a few weeks ago, would you entertain the idea of bringing Quinn Hughes to New Jersey? It was actually 79% said yes, fans, and the rest was about 19% or 21% said no, they didn't want Quinn Hughes here. But when you do the math, with the salary cap, the no movement clauses, there was really no wiggle room to bring Quinn Hughes to New Jersey. It just wasn't there. So it begs the question with Tom Fitzgerald. Some fans think that Fitzy should be fired. Some fans like the move because they didn't want to lose Nemec or Dawson Mercer, some of the rumored names in that deal that would have been going back to Vancouver, first-round picks. At the end of the day, Tom Fitzgerald couldn't get the deal done. And why? with the amount of no movement clauses and amount of contracts, I mean, we've known this for a while, that Quinn Hughes wanted to play with his brothers. Jim Rutherford was sending smoke signals. No, not even sending smoke signals. He was blatantly just kind of like being very open book and transparent about it. That Quinn wants to play with his brothers, and then he will walk it back, and then next week he'll be, the beginning of the year, he'll be like, no, he does want to play with his brothers. Or something of that nature, not exact quote. And what does this mean for Tom Fitzgerald? Is this a big loss? Did he not do his job right? Southside, Johnny says, great news. We keep our asses. He signs here in 2 years. No chance he resigns in Minnesota. You never know. You just never know. You never know. Sports is pretty funny sometimes. Players' loyalties. Is it money? Is it quality of life? Is cost of living expenses? Is there a hometown discount? There's so many factors why players stay, why players go. But Tom says Fitz's days are numbered. Well, yeah. You'd have to think ownership group is very disappointed that the Devils were not even close cap-wise in even position to even be able to pull off a trade. It required a lot of assets, no doubt, but that was not the hard part. Was trying to move the money around. And these player-friendly contracts, these clauses, no movement. You talk to Palat, he'll say, no way. I'm not going to Vancouver. Talk to Dougie Hamilton, they'll say, no way. I'm not going to Vancouver. Who wants to go to Vancouver right now? It's a mass exodus out of Vancouver. But you have to think that Fitzy's working on something. Because now the spotlight's on Tom Fitzgerald. He has to do something. You've got a team that's floundering, losing games with pathetic effort, like last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning, coming out from the start of the game just basically sleepwalking, and the Tampa Bay Lightning just taking advantage very quickly. It was 2-0 just like that. I went to the bathroom and come back, it's already 2-0 Tampa. Dubs is like, and he makes a great point. The Kaprizov is at $17 million in 2 years. That's nearly $20 million AAV for Quinn. I don't know if he would command that much. I don't even know what. It's hard to predict the going rate. The cap's going up, but you're right. You would be committing a tremendous amount of cap space for two players if they were to re-sign Quinn Hughes. But, yeah, it's, again, the Minnesota Wild. Tom says, I unfollowed all Devil stuff on social media. I'm on a Devil's mental health break after last night. Tom, you're not going to unfollow us, are you? I hope not. South Fork Yeti says, incarcerated Bob said something's still out there, LOL. I believe something's still out there. Because obviously, I think think Tom Fitzgerald bailed here. Jim Rutherford is not a patient guy. Lyle Richardson kind of explained that on the State of the Fan address with Billy Dean and I a couple days ago. And I think really, I honestly think really Fitzy has to do something because he has to address the needs right now for a third line center and a winger, a top six winger. With all this hype, I think it's a blessing that Fitzy didn't pull this trade because it would have been so drastic. It would have really completely rip out the plan, the playbook with his team, where it's heading, just for one player. And I don't think Fitzy, he did the right thing by not doing it, but I don't think he even had a choice either. Because these contracts that he offered and were signed by a lot of these players, they're not movable. And I get it, he's a player's GM, and I respect that. But it's a double-edged sword. The downside of that is when you really want flexibility and you really want to make this trade, you have no wiggle room. Vancouver's not going to wait forever. They want to do the rebuild now. And unfortunately, the timing wasn't there. It's kind of like relationships. If the timing's not there, it's never meant to be. But the Devils were, I would assume, they were close enough to really get a good sniff at this, get a taste of it, of Quinn Hughes coming to New Jersey. I'm sure Jack and Luke are disappointed. Also in news, thank you, Select the Boy, that Gritzik is out this weekend. More injuries. Devils have back-to-back home games starting tomorrow against the Anaheim Ducks, 12:30 p.m. Eastern start, 11:30 a.m. Eastern start for Game Day Live at American Whiskey, upstairs in the attic. On S-Size, from Sports Illustrated, Jenny Streeter will be on the program with me and Vinny Parisi. Sunday, the Vancouver game. It's going to be snowing. Is anybody going to show up? Now there's no Quinn Hughes. Nothing. What a buzzkill. What a buzzkill. It would have been very interesting if Quinn was playing in that game. But it's for naught. And the Devils fans will have to wait. They will have to wait. Steve Cartaz says NJ Devil, the mascot, pulled his groin, doubtful for the weekend. Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg. And I tattoo Fitzy's face on my calf. If you get Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg, look, if Fitzy gets those two without sacrificing some of these guys that were named in that deal for Quinn Hughes, if he's able to pull it off at a reasonable price, it will make a lot of the fans that were really wanting to get this deal done, I think they'll forget about it for a little bit. But Fitzy's on the hot seat right now. The team is not winning. They had a team meeting last night. It stays in the room. How are they going to respond? Talk is cheap. What are the Devils are going to do? Again, Steve Cartaz is correct. We have no cap room. Who are you going to move? You're not going to get Stamkos back, I don't think. Barry Trotz, it takes two to dance, but he wants so much. He's asking for a lot. And I'm not sure if Tom Fitzgerald could actually pull the trade or not. Beer Baron thinks that he'll be a Devil in 2 years, Quinn Hughes. Could be. But if Tom Fitzgerald is not prepared, or whoever's the next GM that's not prepared with the salary cap space and a plan in place in 2027, that's not good. Minnesota, former Devils Stanley Cup champion, Bill Guerin running the show up in Minnesota. What's with Minnesota poaching former New Jersey Devils? Remember when they got Jacques Lemaire, Bill Guerin, Brian Ralston, amongst others, Zach Parise. It seems like, at times, Minnesota Wild gets our leftovers. Anyway. And Select always says, Quinn might be a Devil in 2 years. Keyword is might. But here's the scenario now that he's moved to Minnesota. Quinn Hughes. You've kept Shimon Nemec. He's become a fan favorite as of late. Him and Gritzik are the ones that are just keeping this team afloat while Jack Hughes and Pesce and others are out. But even with Quinn Hughes, even with Jack Hughes, even with Brett Pesce, last night, doesn't matter who you have in the lineup, but if you come out there lackadaisical with the lack of effort, especially to start the game at home in front of a good crowd, it doesn't matter who you trade for. Because, like I said on the morning woo this morning, fundamentally and the foundation, it's not there. It's weak. One player goes down and suddenly the bottom drops. I'm talking about Jack Hughes. I know there's been more players. In context, there have been a lot of guys out, but other teams have the same exact issues. I don't think it's affecting the New York Islanders at all. Other teams have injuries. You got to figure out how to win. Figure a way. Ross is boss. Rossi is the undersized, decent center. Miller Time says Devils absolutely blew it. They could have traded away Jack Hughes, who only plays 50 games a year, and Luke Hughes to Vancouver for a huge package. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. The Hughes family, they obviously like it in New Jersey. But yeah, so if you haven't heard breaking news, about half an hour ago, Elliotte Friedman reported and posted on X that Quinn Hughes is heading to the Minnesota Wild. Not the kind of news I wanted to hear on a Friday night. We knew something was brewing. Of course, on X, there were a couple hidden things, but I think Tom Fitzgerald is working the phones right now. He better be. He better be all in and focused. Because you just can't, what kind of team do you have where you're just waiting for your guys to come back and start winning again? Tom Fitzgerald does not have cap flexibility right now. And he's being exposed at the worst time. And Jim Rutherford knew that because he wanted to get a deal done. He wanted to get it now. I said earlier in the week, it's probably going to happen this week, and it did. But just not to the New Jersey Devils. And fans are going to look, if tomorrow against Anaheim Ducks, You can guarantee it that if the Devils are down 3-0 in the first period, the Fire Fitzy chants are going to be raining loud and clear of Devils fans' displeasure. Hopefully it doesn't get to that. Again, here on this Let's Go Devils podcast, we don't advocate for firings, but we advocate accountability. And accountability, and I've said all along, and I'll say it again, obviously it's the players and the coaches, but really it starts up top right now. I think Devils fans are sick and tired of watching this inconsistent hockey where we're sold a bill of goods, the potential, but if the effort's not there, it doesn't matter how talented you are. You've got to work out there and create your own luck. You know, we talk about puck luck. In fairness, I thought the Tampa Bay Lightning had a lot of the bounces go their way. But they worked hard for that. They worked hard for their puck luck. They were just able to cash in and be fortunate enough to have it go their way. But it only happens when you put a consistent effort on the ice every time you're out there. And that's what's so frustrating about this New Jersey Devils organization right now. That's what's really, really frustrating. And the Ducks are a good team. Other teams are making moves at Pittsburgh and Edmonton. Some players, it's a multiplayer deal going. I don't have the details in front of me, but Jari going to Edmonton. I believe Skinner is going to Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. Jonathan Chin says, good teams make their own luck, us not so much. You got to go hard to the net to get the lucky bounces. You got to create traffic up front. You got to put the puck on net. You got to make sure that the goaltender can't see the puck. That's where you get your puck luck. But if you just pass it around the perimeter and play the perimeter game and not be able to get inside, you're going to, again, the goaltender is going to know exactly where it's going to go every single time. It's the National Hockey League. Goaltending is a problem right now. Jake the Snake Allen and Jacob Markstrom are not exactly putting out stellar performances at the moment. Defensively, I know the team's decimated, but my goodness, guys are getting through. The opponents are getting through the defense unscathed, untouched. That's not Devils hockey. I like that, Michael Hay. Edmonton threw out the homegrown guy. Good for McDavid. Yeah, I mean, you don't like to see that happen. You know, I was not happy when Jim Dowd left the Devils. I forgot if he was traded or he signed with another team. But he did come back, which was really nice. I think around 2007 with the New Jersey Devils. Always a fan favorite. Just having a Jersey guy win the organization's first Stanley Cup in New Jersey. It's definitely a good story. Look on the Instagram Live. Sean. Let's see. We have Cole. There's Speechless. Sean Joyce 10 says, what do you think Vancouver asked New Jersey for they pulled out or didn't make it happen? Honestly, I think they were asking for Nemec, a first rounder, a top 6 forward, and maybe a prospect. But I don't think that was the issue. I think it was the money. I think Tom Fitzgerald did not have the cap space to actually make it happen. So that's why it's probably stalled. And Jim Rutherford's not going to have any of it. He's going to talk to the other teams. He gave New Jersey a chance but Fitzy couldn't make it work. Why he couldn't make it work? It's the contracts that he had signed in the past few years. There's a lot of no movement clauses. If you don't have the flexibility, there's really nothing to talk about. But you can make the argument, well, we've known about this for a while. Did you really have to sign Kovacevic if you knew that maybe there's an inkling even before Rutherford started name drop, kind of getting everyone's attention that Quinn Hughes out of Vancouver? He made it known a while ago. Devils had no space, no cap space. And even if the Devils did get Quinn Hughes, the amount you would have had to given up, which Nemec is one of them, draft picks, Dawson Mercer, his name was out there, possibly Seamus Casey, draft picks. I think a lot of fans would have been pissed if Quinn Hughes came to New Jersey and you had to give up that much, knowing that you could take that risk and sign him in a year and a half and barely give up anything or at all. Anything. But I'm glad he got traded to Minnesota and staying in the Western Conference. I'd hate for Quinn Hughes to be traded to the Philadelphia Flyers or the New York Rangers or anybody in the Metropolitan Division. But instead, he's in Minnesota. So if you were one that didn't want Quinn Hughes because you did not want to give up the assets, you should be happy. Quinn Hughes is not in the Eastern Conference. The talk about him going to Detroit didn't happen. And we'll see about the Olympics. If Jack is back, Quinn, see if they can play together for Team USA. So let me know your thoughts, folks. I'm just reading some of the comments right now. Possible that the Wild will try to trade him to the New Jersey Devils now. Again, you're going to run into the same problems. I'm sure they would want to if they were going to get a boatload back, but for now, who knows if this is going to be a rental for this year, Quinn Hughes. Most likely, I think Quinn Hughes, if he's going to be dealt, it's going to be during free agency this summer. It's hard to do deals in the middle of the season. It's hard. Yeah, everything's crazy right now. I mean, still more Devils are getting hurt. Gritzik's going to be out this weekend. Timo out. Jack Hughes out. Kovacevic out. He's been out for a while. Pesci out. We had a lot of guys come back, but we still have a lot of guys that are out. Ted, Sam, this season began to fall apart when Jack was injured. You can make that case. But at the same time, we saw how vulnerable the Devils were when they got spanked by the Colorado Avalanche back in October. It was October or beginning of November? Don't remember. But they got spanked. And Jack Hughes was playing. Selector Boy says, why is that the team can't play like a team when key players are out? Well, I'm not saying that the prospects aren't carrying their own weight, but you've got Utica that's not doing very well right now. You've got contracts that have a lot of no movement clauses, gives you no flexibility. So you have to go to players you have, and I get it. They don't have time to be fancy right now. They have to play hard and show up every night and play good defensively, but be aggressive on offense. Tom says, yeah, we lack veteran leadership. I know Nico's getting older, but it can't just always be Nico. We need impact players on this team. All right. Well, I want to thank all those tuning in on the breaking news that Quinn Hughes going to the Minnesota Wild. And we'll have the morning woo tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning. Got to drive in early to Prudential Center for Game Day Live and Devils After Dark at American Whiskey at 51 Edison Place, across the street from Prudential Center next to Championship Plaza. There's going to be a lot of road closures, so be safe, everybody. Allow some time to get to the game, and also you're encouraged to use mass transportation, something I don't like. Yeah, so anyway, going to get out of here. And I hope you enjoy your Friday night. I know a lot of Devils fans are down. But it's now time for Tom Fitzgerald to step up to the plate and deliver and basically fix this. Thank you, Michael Rosenswag. It's going to be a triple header Saturday tomorrow. Jenny Streeter at American Whiskey on the 3rd floor, the attic. Take the elevator or walk up the stairs. She's from On SI. Also, pucksandpitchforks.com alum. Can't wait to have Jenny on the show. Thank you. Dropping the podcast in about 10 minutes. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils.